7 days, no obligation, just 7 days for an opportunity to make yourself a better man. Divorce, hardships, we all have or are going through it. You are not alone. Join the Brotherhood, Northman Coaching on School. Stop by today and begin the journey. Shoulder to shoulder, brick by brick. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. You are worth it. Join today.
Welcome to Living by Oak Values, guys. And I am Gary, the Superior Mailman, and I'm with my good friend and co-host, AJ, the Superior Dude.
How we doing, guys?
How are you tonight, sir?
Doing good, brother. How are you?
Very well. So today we're going to be talking about leading from the rebuild. And I say leading from the rebuild because you didn't go through all this work. You didn't rebuild your life just to make things better for you. You came to be the man that others rely upon. And if you haven't, that's what you should be doing. You should be thinking about the people that helped you to get to this spot where you're at or going to be at. And how can you use these skills to help others that are where you once were to bring them up to where you are? So do you agree with that? Yes, no,
Absolutely,
maybe?
yeah, absolutely. Sorry,
No, you're
trying
good.
not to interrupt you. It is absolutely the 100% truth. The rebuild is so important, and it's everything. It's the fabric of who you become. That rebuild can get shifted, and yeah, things happen quick if you don't stay on track and stay on steps. And yeah, the rebuild is really the massive part of the blueprint of all the work that you've put in, and
Absolutely.
not making mistakes, and changing that blueprint along the way as you go.
Yes. So, and the line I have here is a rebuilt man is not the finish line. He is a starting point for leadership. And this goes like, I like to think back, you can't be a leader if you haven't led yourself. So if you haven't done this work, even if you have had no issues that you're aware of in your life, your marriage is good, your relationships are good, life is good, and you have a kid all of a sudden, if you haven't done inner work to realize your triggers or what it is that makes you tick, then how can you lead that child? If maybe you don't have a child and you're just getting married, how do you lead your wife if you don't know what makes you tick?
Well, that's one of the biggest problems. A lot of people in life think that, excuse me, you kind of figure it out as you go, right? So we haven't been married before, so obviously, you're gonna learn as you go. And I think that people miss the step that yes, there are some aspects of life that you need to learn as you go. There's no question about that. But on the other side of things, you need to actually build who you are as a man and have a foundation in order to be successful in that actual growth. If you want to be able to be successful in actually having a sustainable marriage, a marriage that lasts, a marriage that's built on a strong foundation, or as it says in the Bible, being built on that rock, having a life built on that rock, it's going to be built on sand. And that
Absolutely.
it's just a hard truth. And most people don't realize that. Same thing with parenting. You think, okay, well, I've never been a father before, so I'm going to learn as I go and do the best I can to be the best father that I can possibly be. Without the foundation, well, there's not much success in it. And that is the sad truth, I feel like, especially nowadays with men from our generation and even our fathers.
Mhm.
Things started to fall apart in a major way. Foundations didn't exist.
Have to agree. I mean, there was a foundation, but it's like you said, it was in sand or there was a lot of holes and they were filled with, I don't know,
Yeah.
with nails or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think that you are right or I don't know if you're right. Or I can't remember what you said exactly, but you do learn as you go. That's fatherhood.
Right.
That's
Right.
marriage. But it's the foundation that you have to have I think you have to have. I think will help a lot. I mean, I can build a house, but if I don't know how to make a foundation, that house is not going to make it. Not going to make it
Exactly.
through the first storm. And
Even guys that have been building houses their whole lives, they know that if that foundation is not what it's supposed to be, that house is not going to last.
right. And even like, go ahead.
It's just it's just as simple as that. It's like building a beach house, a house
Or a
that's
beach
built
house.
by the beach, right? You're building on sand. What's the importance of it? If you just decide to put the foundation on the ground and think that the foundation's going to be there for very long, or the house is going to last through the first storm, you're sadly mistaken.
True.
And that's where, yes, you could speculate that it's just our opinion for the need to have a foundation or to have those traits. But time has told throughout my entire life, anyways, that when men face divorce, men face serious breakup, the loss of a loved one, accidents that people get into, sometimes even just losing their parents, they crumble. They crumble, right? Life has hit and they crumble. They crumble because there wasn't a foundation. When that foundation's there, as we see all the time, life still happens. Life still goes on. Life still hurts. We still lose people. We still have relationships that end. Men still, unfortunately, face divorce in some circumstances, but the foundation was built so they're not destroyed. They're not lost, and their world hasn't just dropped out from underneath them. And now they're sinking in the sand. They have fallen through the house, maybe, but they've landed on their foundation. And that foundation gives them the opportunity to get back on track.
Yes, agreed. So, and when you talk about, with marriage and being a parent or father. So for me, I'm a father, but I'm not in a relationship, but I do lead myself. And prior to this work, I had to make my foundation. I had to build it up because if I can't lead myself, then I can't lead anybody. And,
Exactly.
leading my daughter, and as I move into a relationship, I know what I'm looking for in life. And I know, so instead of shooting for anything that I can get, I know exactly what I'm shooting for. And that's going to the fact that I can lead myself when that relationship, what's the word I'm looking for, comes to fruition, I guess, if that's the right word. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, fruition, definitely. Well, so you can find stability and you can do the work without actually stepping into a leadership role. I think that's kind of where you're going. Leadership requires attention, and stability is just not leadership. Doing the work and pointing yourself in the direction of becoming strong and steady for others, facing that day to day, remembering that there's always somebody watching, right? So you don't need to be a father. You don't need to be a husband. Somebody's always watching you. Lead with the stability that you are stepping into. Remember that there are children that see you, or there's coworkers that see you. We talked to a gentleman that's in our brotherhood that talks about how off of one conversation at work that he finally stepped into, he hid away from having those types of conversations in the workplace. He wasn't comfortable having them. We had a lot of talks about it. We challenged him to try to have those conversations, or have a conversation at least, with those men in that environment. And now they're coming at him. They're coming at him constantly because they're looking to him for answers to things. They're looking to him for real leadership. They
Yes.
now see a leader in that man, where before he felt like he wasn't even seen by those other men at work. He felt like he couldn't be comfortable and people didn't take him all that serious. And now he's the guy that everyone wants to go to. He stepped into a form of leadership. Now, he's not at a place to go out and lead in the world because he's still working on his steps. But that's the point. The point is when you start to have that stability, to start leading with it.
Yes. So it's
That's
about intention.
right.
So attention and intention, both of them. So when you know exactly what you want, and that's the man you're describing that you're talking about, he had this in all time, but he didn't show the intention
Right.
until he went out and made those
Right.
conversations. And it's like, that's like a blessing and a curse all in disguise. Like,
Yeah,
now people come to
it
him
is.
because they know what he's capable of.
Right. But it's like for us, when it comes to faith, our job as men is to lead.
Yes.
And our faith teaches us the importance of being a strong leader. It teaches us the importance of having a strong foundation. And our faith has given us a lot of the skills and tools that we have today, along with lots of other things and lots of life experiences. But it's given us those steps to make sure that we pay attention to always leading in the things we do as men. And that's really important, no matter what point of the work that you're in. And if you're
Absolutely.
leading while you're building what's going to become a much stronger leader. I think it's the best way to break it down.
Yeah. So, and we have a Bible verse for that from 1 Corinthians 16:13. It says, "Be watchful, stand firm in your faith, act like men, and be strong." And that really to me is saying, to be watchful. It's about awareness, not just physical awareness, but spiritual awareness. So,
Right. Absolutely.
what else are you getting from that at all from Corinthians? as far as relating to what we're the topic here?
You know, being okay, it's not the mission. It's you need to be steady in life and you need to be strong for others. Being watchful and standing firm in faith, act like men and being strong, that it's like laying the roots for being a leader, right?
Mhm.
It's like leveling the land to put the foundation down. Right. It's like your first stepping stone is kind of how I see 1 Corinthians. Be watchful, stand firm in faith. Make sure that you're not the guy that just goes to church on Sunday. Make sure that you are the guy that stands strong in your faith 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Live by the man that you are.
Yes.
Don't be somebody that shows up partially. A man that shows up for church on Sundays, but doesn't pray and have a deep divine relationship with God, just shows up here and there. Can you show up as a father 1 day a week? Can you
No,
show up as a husband 1 day a week? Can you show up for work as an employee 1 day a week?
it'll be awesome.
No. Yeah. Be awesome in a lot of contexts, but don't do that. Don't throw up the work. Everything you do, you should be showing up in the best leadership role that you possibly can. And I think that that's what 1 Corinthians is saying, is that no matter what, whether you're in the sand, you're in the, you're at your foundation point, or you're at the house where you've got a foundation, you're building the house, right? You need to always try to stand in that leadership role
Yes. So
the best way you can.
2 things that stood out to me in that passage was because they hit me kind of funny because of I thought about before the work and where I am now is act like men and be strong. And I can remember, being a kid and your dad's like, act like a man, be strong. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does
There's
that
never an
mean?
understanding.
And as I've got into the work and more into the Bible, like, act like men in this situation, it means it's about maturity and responsibility. It's
Yeah.
not about being a tough guy or whatever. It's about maturity and responsibility. And to be strong, it's really that's not just physical. That's that's emotional, that's mental, that's spiritual. You have to be able to handle it all. That's what strong
Yeah.
is. So it's not like I
Yeah.
can go to the gym and bench this or whatever. It's about what can you handle up here, what can you handle in your heart, and handle all around you. So
Yeah. I mean, it's, I like what you said, but I want to go back to the beginning. I love what you said in the end there, but in the beginning, what you just said, geez, I'm losing myself now because I can't stop thinking, about the Bible verse, of 1 Timothy, the set an example, just because of the way you said that. I'm going to throw that out there just because it falls into place so much.
sure, go for it.
But 1 Timothy 4:12, we had written down to throw out today. It set an example in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity. This wasn't the place to throw in the Bible verse in the middle of the conversation,
We're
but
fine, whatever.
it goes so much with what you just said that I had to put it out there. But see, I also want to throw out the fact, if you're not somebody that has watched our series of podcasts and you're coming in new, understand there is a huge difference between being the guy that can walk around and go to the gym and say, "Oorah," and pump the heaviest weights and walks around with his bulked out chest and his shoulders up high and, his tattoos all over him. And he's a scary looking masculine man that the world portrays him to be. He's not a masculine man. That has nothing to do with masculinity. That is a man that is taking care of his muscles. That's what he's doing. It
Showing
does
off.
show discipline. That is great. Discipline is huge, and all men need discipline. And he is using a lot of his time, obviously, and discipline to do that specific thing. But it needs to be spread everywhere. Discipline needs to lead to real healthy masculinity, not just to the gym. It's okay to go to the gym. It's okay to have discipline there.
More than okay, you should.
Yeah, you should, right. But masculinity has nothing to do with having muscles or tattoos or the right haircut or the right outfit or being able to, be a tough man. Now, you should be able to protect your family. That is a must. It's a man's role is to protect his family, even in physicality standards, but it's not masculinity. Masculinity comes from the heart, it comes from the core, it comes from your foundation. Real masculinity, healthy masculinity is when your son or daughter comes home and they've been in a fight at school or they've done something bad. And it is time to lay down the law, as dad, as a disciplinarian, it's having the ability to sit your child down without being affected in any part of what your child can see. You may be angrier than angry and your head's ready to blow like Popeye. Your
Yeah.
child cannot see that.
Right.
You need to sit down and have a healthy conversation with your child to find out why this happened. Get to the root of what you can do to help your child change that situation moving forward. And then you need to, handle a consequence. You need to punish, but you need to do it just like we're talking right now. That is leading with healthy masculinity or biblical masculinity, whichever way you want to state it.
Yeah.
But a
And
lot of
you
men
said that you were in
use
the wrong spot, really. But that fit in perfectly right there. That Timothy.
it did, yeah, it
So
did.
and so I mean, to set the
Exactly right.
example, that is your foundation. You don't want to tell people to do this now or not do this now. You personally want to do what you feel in your heart is right, what you know is right, because your foundation is strong,
Right.
and people will follow you. They will follow your lead. So you always want to live in a way that that others will follow. That's my
Exactly.
goal every day. Every day is to live a life that my daughter can see me and say, I want to be like that. I want to do what dad's doing.
Because it builds the legacy. It
Yes,
builds your
absolutely.
legacy of who you're going to be.
Absolutely.
And
So,
we discussed it the other night in the brotherhood. Who do you want your children to see you as? If your children could say, that's my dad, what would the rest of the sentence really be? If you were nowhere around and you were never going to know what they said,
mhm.
what would it be? Would they have good things to say? Would they say you're a mean dad? If they're saying, my dad's so tough, my dad's a helicopter parent, my dad doesn't play around. I got to have great grades. He's so tough on me. You're doing something right. But if your child's saying my dad is an asshole or my dad is a lot of other cuss words, there's something wrong there. There's something wrong with that situation. You're not leading very well if your child is out there seeing you as cuss words. But if your child sees you as an obnoxious, as my son, and I've heard it from a lot of people, my son loves to tell people, my dad's a helicopter parent. He's so difficult. He's impossible. He doesn't let me do anything. Everything is gotta call him like I'm 12 years old. I gotta check in every half an hour. And if I don't get an A, then I'm grounded for 7 days. I have to sit at a table and read books. If I get a B, like my dad is just, you don't even know how lucky you guys have it. Hey, you know what? That's a great feeling. That's a great feeling to know that that's the dad that I am, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So, but well, I mean, so none of your kids would say that you're an a-hole?
Oh yeah, my older ones will
I
for
mean,
sure.
I definitely could go back in time and say, my dad was mean. My dad was hard.
Uh-huh.
My dad was an a-hole.
Absolutely.
But now that I'm 48 years old, I'm telling you right now, I can look back and say that my dad not only did the best job that he could do, but he did a damn fine job. I mean,
But
I
see,
am
that's
where I am because of him. I mean,
right.
there was a lot of good, there was a lot of bad, but there was a lot of lessons that were taught. Was his foundation unshakable? Not always. But even when you and I and the guys in the group, we build our foundation, they're never really solid to the core 100% of the time. There's going to be an earthquake. It's going to shake your foundation.
And you got to keep building it.
You got to keep building. You got to keep reinforcing it. You got to keep strengthening it. It's going to crumble a little here and there. But when it crumbles to nothing, that's when the problem is.
Yeah. But
And
I want to just
go
sorry.
ahead. No, you go ahead.
I want to say, without a doubt, you're right. One or maybe even more of my kids would say, "Oh yeah, my dad was an asshole. And my dad is an asshole." But a lot of that also reflects on the difference between the man that I was with my older boys compared to my youngest son.
That's going to roll right perfectly into our next part of the podcast because the man you used to be, are you owning that man?
Oh yeah,
If
I
you own that
definitely
role
am.
without excuses, if that was the best that you could do, then that was your best you can do.
You know how long it took me to realize that, and that's a sad thing. And I wish that I had brotherhood
Mm-mm.
and men's work back in the day when I was in my 20s to have been able to realize stuff like this.
Sure. Wishings for fairy tales. The fact
Sure.
that you figured it out, you learned. You know what? I say the same thing. I wish I didn't start doing this work when I was 40. I wish I started when I was 20. Like there's a guy in our group in his 20s doing this work. He's going to have an incredible life someday. If it's not already incredible, it's only going to get better. But the bottom line is I learned so much in my teens, my 20s, my 30s, that when my 40s hit and my foundation crumbled and I had to rebuild it, then I was like, okay, I need to own everything. I need to own this without making excuses. So it wasn't the economy that destroyed me or my ex-wife that destroyed me. it was life that was happening for me, not even to me. That crumbling allowed me to realize the faults, like the fault lines, if you will, and allowed me to rebuild, and as I was rebuilding, I was thinking, I'm not ready to be the dad I want to be, or I need more time, or I'm still working on myself. Here I am now. I'm at least 4, 5 years deep into the six. Wow. Okay. Time flew a little faster than I thought. 6 or 7 years into the work. Guess what? I'm still rebuilding that man every day. I thought that there was going to come a time where I was rebuilt. I was done. This is me. I'm way better than I ever was, and I'm done. I can actually coach you on how to be a better man. I can coach another guy how to be a better man because I'm at the top of my game. I am at the top of my game, but the ceiling is a glass ceiling. I break that every day.
I
Every
was
day I
just
break
gonna
that
say that,
glass.
yeah.
I'm always growing.
The fact that you're able to lead and you're able to coach other men, because when that point came and you had stability in your life and you had been trying to lead through that stability, and you continued to make sure that you were leading by example, you were able to, how did you say it, owning your role without excuses. You were able to do that, and you were able to realize that at that point this work doesn't stop. So not only do you have all of this life experience now, but you have all of this work experience now, and you have work to lead through it. That's why, because you never built excuses. You never said up this, but that, I'm not ready. I need more time. I'm still working on myself. You got to that point where you weren't going to let that hold you down, and you started to seriously lead, and you haven't stopped, but you also have never stopped the work, which is why you're able to be the amazing coach that you are.
Well, I want to make it clear that there was a time where I wasn't ready, where,
Of
I'm still
course.
working myself. When you take ownership of that and you don't make that the reason why you're not. I mean, am I
Right.
ready to lead somebody in something that I've never done? Nope. But let's get ready. Let's figure that out right now. Let's start learning. So, like last night, you were talking about PTSD and anxiety. I don't know anything about it. I don't know a thing
Yeah.
about it. But I learned a thing or two last night from you.
Yeah.
If somebody comes to me with those issues, I'm still going to be like, go talk to AJ. But I'm figuring it out. I'm learning. If you're not available for some reason, I want to be able to help out.
Yeah, but see, that's the great thing about you, Gary. And I will always say this, and I should say it more when it's not just me and you having a conversation. It doesn't matter if you're looking at your feet or touching your phone, you take in everything. And I said it to Jar last night, the way that you hear something that you know nothing about, that has no impact on your life whatsoever. You hear it and internalize it, and you find a way to use that information to better the knowledge that you have in case you ever have to help somebody around you that has PTSD or panic attacks. Most people, I feel like, don't reach that place. You may
Well,
reach leadership and growth, not that place.
it's funny. There was a time before this I started doing this work that you could talk to me about anxiety or PTSD or whatever, and I blew you off. You were a pussy. Man up. Get over it. Because I didn't understand it. And like I said, I still don't understand a lot of it, but I do know that now I do know from the work that it is real. And I also know that your PTSD might be better or not as bad as someone else's. But the bottom line is it's your truth. It's how you feel, and it doesn't matter. So your anxiety is just as bad as someone else's because it's how each of you see it individually, and I need to understand that.
Yeah.
So I had
That's
to
another
stop
thing. It's
blowing it off.
individual. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it really is. It's individual. And I like we had discussed last night with that other guy, we all have a lot of the same experiences when it comes to panic attacks, right? That's just part of it. And it follows a harsh reality, panic attacks, and I wish I knew something better. I will continue to do all the work I can to understand it, but that is just a part of PTSD, having a panic attack or having anxiety, and it's different for everyone. Why he has PTSD, or why a soldier has PTSD, or a woman who has been raped has PTSD. Everybody's dealing with it. It's different. but the reality of what comes along with it is the same. And that is a perfect example for anything that you need to work on in your life and rebuild. It doesn't matter if your life has come to a crumble because of a divorce or a breakup in a serious relationship. God forbid the loss of a child or the loss of a loved one, or you've hit rock bottom, went bankrupt, lost homes, whatever the reason may be, the outcome is always the same. We go through the same lows, the same situational aspects. It's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can all walk down the same journey in life, though, for the rebuild, as long as you have the right guidance. And
Yes.
that's why what we do is so special. And I just wish the whole world understood it, because it would change how men are. It would change the way men are able to raise their children, and it would change generations to come. And hopefully someday it's the Gary and AJ robots that continue to do this work long after we're gone to
I'm not on the same page as you.
yeah,
Sorry.
let's teach generations to come with the AI, Gary and AJ, so that, our grandchildren can be building a foundation before they're old enough to date the first girl they meet.
Yeah. No. There's part of life that you have to learn. You have to fall down. Sorry. I'm not down with the whole AI robot thing.
Oh, you gotta fall down so much in life and pick yourself back up. Absolutely. But learning to have the foundation and learning how to be a leader and learning how to rebuild after ruins, learning how to become a leader from the breakdown, learning those things can be acquired just like anything else that we learn at a young age.
I want to say one thing on that note with the leadership is that leadership happens while you're growing. And that's why you and I can lead well, because we're still growing. Now, if you take a guy who just joins our group today and tell him to lead the other guys, he's going to have to read a book or something, and it's going to be a lesson from a book. It's going to be he's going to be a professor in elementary school or whatever. Nothing against those people, but it's not going to be what you're teaching from real life, what I'm teaching from real life. School of the hard knocks. That's where the lessons come from. Also, the other thing with what you were just saying that what were you just saying about the AI thing and falling down? So my daughter had the anxiety attack the other day that I told you about last night over a stuffed animal that she lost. And the old me was like, seriously? It's a stuffed animal that you lost. And it was at my house the whole time, not her mother's house. And then I started talking to her and I realized what it was about it, that she has an attachment to this stuffed animal that she lost. And it stems back to the divorce. She lost her parents. They were no longer together. And the fear that she had was that one of them was going to go away permanently, if not both of them. And what would she do? Was this her fault? What if they both broke up because of her and then they're just gone now? She's figuring it out because nobody wants to be with her. Now the stuffed animal's gone. So it all comes back in a child's brain like, is this my fault? Now I'm panicking. And I said, I've never had those attacks before, but I actually remember being a kid. This is very, very vanilla or very light, but being in a grocery store, looking at something on the shelf, turning around, my mom is gone. What the? Oh my God. There's 100 aisles in this grocery store. Mom's gone. What do I do? And I think thankfully, that's probably the height of my panic attacks, but I found her, but I get the feeling. I get it. So I don't know where I was going with that part either.
No, is it? You're going with the fall, you
Falling
have
down
to fall
and figuring it
down.
out on your own.
You
But
basically have to fall down and figure it out on your own.
yeah. So the next Bible verse that we have for this is Joshua 1:9, and that is, I love this one because it's good. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. And I know actually for a fact about you and myself, we have not always been strong and courageous. I think we've put on fronts to act that way, but I know for sure that I have not been strong and courageous my whole life.
Yep, 100%.
So, and I think that being strong and courageous, a lot of it comes down to fear. You're getting very static. What's going on there? You all right? You're bad. You're very bad. What'd you do?
I didn't do anything.
Now you're better. Okay. Good thing we're not live. I think I can edit that part out. And this part I'm saying.
It's weird.
Stop playing. Now you're low. I can't hear you.
We good?
Now you're good.
Okay.
Killing me, Smalls. All right. Anyway.
I don't know what I did. All I did was move my chair a little bit, but okay, get back to it.
Anyway, so be strong and courageous. What does that mean to you?
Being strong and courageous. Well, first I want to touch on um, the actual prayer itself. What the prayer is saying is to remember that, God is always with you.
Mhm.
He's always within you. He's always beside you. He's always around you. You think of the Trinity, however you want to think of it. You always have God with you. And, and when you live that reality, then the reality is this is really never real true isolation because you always have God with you. And excuse me, if you're living off of that aspect, then you should always have the strength to be courageous and to try to be a strong individual in whatever you're doing. But leadership is not control. Masculinity is something that should come from the heart. It should come from truth. And I wish I had a better way to think about that. But your control should never be like I was talking about earlier with having your children and sitting them down and having a conversation about something that they've done wrong. Yes, you do have the control of being the parent in that moment and controlling your child. But that control is supposed to be consistency. It's supposed to be your presence. It's leading by example. It's making sure that the way that you come off to the world, no matter who it is that you're coming off to, that control should come from the heart. It should always be loving. It should be the way that you would expect God to be with you. That's my feelings of control, and not something that I've always lived by or I've always believed in. Absolutely not. I was well known for being the lecturer. I was a very loud lecturer, and my lecture went on for an hour, sometimes two. And it was realistically just repeating the same thing 10 different ways in a very loud
You were very good
voice.
at that.
Yeah. It just seemed like you didn't understand the first time, you didn't understand the 10th time, so I was gonna try an 11th and a 12th, but
Just turn the volume up.
yeah, right, that's not really having control. That's the complete opposite of having control in life, because you don't even have control over what's coming out of your mouth. If you did, you'd say what it is, in one sentence, you'd get it out, and your child would understand, or your wife would understand, or the person that you would speak to. And I don't mean you're going to do what I say. It's just a fine line with talking about control.
So, but I think we missed something here because I asked you what your thoughts were on being courageous and strong, and you went to control.
Because I was saying, like, being strong and courageous with the aspect of leadership is not, I don't know. I don't know where I went with it, to be honest. But yeah, the whole strong and courageous to me is like, not being a controlling individual in the wrong aspect of things. I think that's where I was going with it, right? Having courage and being strong is it's a leading mentality. It's a leadership place,
True. You're right.
right? It's
And
coming
I
from
agree
leadership.
100% on that. So you're going to have
And
fear whenever you're stepping into a new role. And and you're going to have fear when you're leading your family or leading anybody.
right.
But you can't let that fear control you. You have to step into it. You have to know that God is there with you and that you need to step into that fear. It actually makes me think, and I could be wrong. You are way more biblically versed than I am, but it's like David and Goliath, you know? So, I mean, David was small and he went in, but I imagine he must have been bogged down with fear,
Of course,
but
and
he
he
knew
said he
that God was
was.
with him.
He admitted he was absolutely blown away with fear. But Daniel knew that he had God beside him. Daniel knew that he was going to be protected by God as long as he had the strength to be courageous and go out there and do it. And yeah, I
Okay.
mean, he was this small man. He was a younger man compared to his older brothers, that were all part of being in that war at that point, but he knew that he had God, and that gave him the courage to go out and be a leader, to go out and show that nothing was going to break him. And even though he didn't believe that he could take out Goliath, he was petrified that this was an impossible thing, as I'm sure he was just as scared about turning around and becoming the king of the nation the king of Israel. Like that must have been a very scary thing to go from a, geez, what do they call him? A shepherd, to go from a shepherd that played music that was of the bastard in the family, the disgrace of the family, and he's going to be the king of Israel. Of course, that had to be scary.
So
But instead of accepting that fear, he stepped in
yes.
to the courage. He stepped
Yes, and the way he
into
showed
the
up, that's really what leadership is about. You can't control your family. You can't control your kids, your wife, your ex-wife, your girlfriend, whatever. You can't control me, but you can control how you show up. You can control the example that you set. And if you set that example consistently every single time, then yeah, I'm gonna start following you. And that's how you do it. So whether you're fighting a giant with a slingshot or you're leading your family, show up the way that you want to show up consistently. And I get in the beginning of this work, consistency is hard to figure out because you're still growing into who you are, but that's part of the growth.
yeah,
Once you get one or two parts down, do that consistently. And as you grow, get that
absolutely.
third part down and fourth part. And eventually you'll be consistent across the board.
Yeah, yeah. I want to take a quick minute to throw out some of our ads
Yeah,
here,
go
guys.
for it.
So I want to start off with Sessions and Lessons Unscripted is a podcast, husband and wife. They fall in the category of self-help to some degree, but they are an amazing couple that have great conversations. There's lots to learn. They are on Spotify. They're on Riverside. They're on Amazon
They're on all
Music,
major platforms.
Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Yeah, they are everywhere. This is their label for anyone who has not seen them. Go on, check them out. Is Joel and Glow Rosario. They are an amazing, amazing couple. If you want a good podcast to listen to outside of listening to us, go and check them out. It is obviously a different style. They are not out there to teach you foundational work. They are out there with marital conversations and life conversations as well. The other thing that I want to throw out is a book. It is called May December End. Is that coming in focus here? I hope so.
Yep,
I'm gonna
I
have
thought I
to
was throwing
start
it out
getting
there.
this up on posters. Yeah, by Joel Rosario as well. Again, this is May December End, The Ballad of Joey Flowers by Joel Rosario. You can find this on Amazon. You can find this, help me out here, Gary, on
It is
Nook.
on Amazon, it is on Kindle, it is on Nook, and I think he just said the other day that the paperback is gonna be back at Barnes& and Noble again. There was an issue with it, but it should be there sooner than later. And if you want a signed copy, they are available on the TikTok shop.
There you go. Go to Sessions and Lessons. Guys, go and check it out. Like I said, it is a great podcast. It's very enjoying to listen to the two of them and the things that they discuss on a weekly basis. So go and check them out, guys.
Yes, check them out.
The other one, guys, if you are spiritual like us, or you are Christians, or in any league
Any
of
religion.
spirituality, any religion,
If
yeah,
you're a reader who reads
yeah, or you
books,
like to read, and this would be a great place to start. So this book is coming out on April 7th. Well, it's only going to be on Amazon. It is called The Unseen War in the Gospel of John. You can go into AJ Deep Roots TikTok and you can find the information on the book there, or you can go to Amber Sworn, who is the author, and you can find the information there as well, or you can also find it at the Spirit Mailman on TikTok. We've all thrown out what we can on the coming out of the book, but again, it's The Unseen War in the Gospel of John, and it comes out on April 7th. Guys, it's a great read. I have had the pleasure of being able to see the book before it's been released. And if you like to read, this is a great place to start with having understanding. This is about the Gospel of John, but it is set back in the year that Jesus was here instead of seeing it from an outlook from a time long after. Instead of reading the Gospel of John in your Bible today, this brings you back to that time and place. So, again, guys, like I said, comes out April 7th.
get out.
So, thanks,
So, all right,
guys.
the last section that we have for this podcast is the man who builds others.
Okay.
And so a rebuilt man doesn't just fix his own life. I am a rebuilt man and I am tweaking my life every day, but I'm helping others rebuild. I helped you rebuild and now you are right there on the same level as me. And together we're helping others rebuild.
Yep.
5 times a week, 4 times a week. What is it? I don't even know. I
Yeah,
feel like it's
4
almost
times.
every day we are,
Well, yeah, it's 4 times. So we have our coffee and devotional Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. We go live. You guys can see us on Facebook or on YouTube if you are looking for a good devotional in the morning. But yeah, then we have our Monday's reflection group. We have our Wednesday bridge group. We have our Friday rag, which is reflection, accountability, and gratitude. But we have our Thursday, our motivated men's group. So yeah, we're basically every day
Almost.
other than Tuesday and Saturdays. But I'm sure that I'll get filled up too I mean, it gets filled anyways with men's work
It
because
does.
maybe
It
that
does.
day is about you being a father to your daughter, or me trying to be a good father to my sons, or a good man to my wife, or a good man to my dog, or just a good man to myself.
My dog.
Listen, my dog now, my dog tops them all, all right, so
We've been saying a Bible verse from Ecclesiastes, about this
there you
brotherhood, but
go.
we actually got a better one today, I think. Why don't you go do you have it in front of you?
Yeah, yeah, I
Go
have
for it.
Galatians.
Galatians?
Yeah, so Galatians 6:2, carry each other's burdens.
I actually like that more because real strength isn't that I carry everything. We carry it
Okay,
all together. I carry your burdens, you carry mine, and any
that
man in
is
that
true.
group, I not only do I carry their burdens, but I carry their wins. I take their wins, I take them, I steal them, and I use them to motivate myself to have more wins.
Yeah, you're using the build, right? And
Absolutely.
that is what it's about. It is always about making sure that any information that we receive from any of the brothers, everybody should take the information from their brotherhood. Anybody that's in our brotherhood, take the information that you get from all of your brothers, whether it's wins, sores, how they built. Pay attention.
Mhm.
That is how you continue to build yourself. I wanted to find the exact verse of Ecclesiastes because it's so great. They go so well together. And I thought I
One
had
is
it
better
right
than
here.
2 for
Here we go. Ecclesiastes, it's 4, 9 through 10. Two are better than one. If either one of them falls, one can help the other. And then you add Galatians 6 to carry each other's burdens
I like that.
like that. You put those two together and
It's like peanut butter and jelly.
yeah, right. But it's like you always say that the Bible is the best explanation for especially for anybody out there that's not a true believer. By people out there that are questioning the Bible. Let me give it to you like this, right? The Bible is one of the most important books to give you to teach you how to lead a fulfilling life. It is one of the first self-help books to explain how to go through anything in life, no matter what it is, no matter what kind of situation you're talking about. That the Bible, that book has it. That book will tell you how to handle anything. It
Mhm.
really will. And you
It's
think this is a perfect example.
Yep, it's true. I mean, if you're in the beginnings of this work and, you're hurting, read Book of Job. No one's had it as bad as that guy.
Yeah.
Nobody.
But it also gets to show you, Job also gets to show you the fruition of real work, right?
Because you have to
Holding
put the work
true.
in. You could sit here and take it all and, life is terrible, life is happening to me, everyone's against me, and you could walk away with that and never be a winner. You
Yeah.
will be a victim your whole life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you can read the book of Job. You don't have to believe in God, I don't care. Read the book of Job. See what he does and copy him. You'll see. Yeah, you're 100% correct. That book
You
is the original self-help book.
and you can even take away with the book of Job, you can take away the aspect of God and the devil and look at a man's life like that ends up losing everything because the IRS took it away. I don't care. The ex-wife took it away, right? Your business partner took it away. Somebody took it away from you and you hit the
The
bottom.
government
Yeah, the government.
took my
Here's your
keys.
choice. Here's your choice. Here's your option, right? Are you gonna fall? Are you gonna just whine, complain, be a victim, and live out the rest of your days in your shit? Or are you going to work and do everything you can to pick yourself up, to be the best version of the best individual that you possibly can be? He didn't give up. He didn't listen to his friends who basically told him to kind of stay where he was, that it was, stay in your shit, blame God. You know,
Blame the government,
everybody, yeah, right. I'll blame the government.
the
That's
economy.
exactly what a lot of guys' friends would tell them. Blame the economy, blame the government. Oh man, it's so messed up. The IRS does this shit to me too. Stay down, break, fall apart. No point in rebuilding yourself. The government's gonna do it to you again. The
Mhm.
IRS is just gonna take your money all over again. So screw it. You might as well just stay down. Well, I'm here to tell you, right? No matter what it is in life, there may be obstacles in life and there may be situations that you cannot repair. There are just things in life that you cannot repair. I can never repair the destruction that
Mhm.
my accident caused. And there may be limitations to a lot of things that I can do in life, but I will never let that stop me from doing everything I can to what's the right way of saying it? Get around, I guess. So sure, I can't run around with my kids. I can't handle the pain from the bounce, right? I will find another way to have quality time. So, and the point of it is there may be situations in life that you cannot repair, you cannot change. That does not mean that you cannot lead. That does not mean that you cannot rebuild. There may be a difference of the type of leader that you are compared to me, or the type of leader that you are compared to Gary or anyone else. We're all sought to lead in a different role in life. We're all meant to be different. We're meant to be individuals. We're not supposed to be the same. But
So,
no matter what your situation, lead.
before we wrap it up, I want to say that what you said, there might be situations that are going to come. There is no might about it. There are situations that are going to come.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's more than one way through the fire. One of them is not around it. You must go through the fire. You can't skip it. But like with your kids and being there for them with the pain, there are other ways, and you will figure that out.
Right. And that's it, and that's more or less what my point is. There are some things that I will never be able to do, right? But that's okay.
Mhm.
I can sit here every day and I can choose to think about, my God, I'm never going to be able to do these things. I'm never going to be able to do what Gary does. I'm never going to be able to, point is that whole sentence right there. I'm never going to be able to. You can live in that, or you can live in, I'm going to get up every day and I'm going to do the best I can to lead the best that I can today for myself first, for God, for my family, for my brothers.
Yes, you got it. So, and if one last thing is that if you fall down, or if when things go wrong, you can fall down. You can complain and cry about it. That's fine. Fall down, skin your knees, cry for a minute, but get up, get the F up,
Yep.
get moving, call for help, reach out to us. And I'm going to leave it at that. I think if you need any help, if you need brotherhood, go to northmancoaching.com. Check out what we have. We have one-on-one coaching. We have a school, SKOL. It's a community that's, we are tight. We are building every day. We are building each other up. We're building everything. And if you're looking for a motivational coach, check out CE Shuffler on TikTok. And I also know a grief coach. If you are dealing with grief, I can link you to her. Anything that you guys need out there, whether it's looking for discipline or brotherhood or motivation, grief, anything, we got you. So come to Northman Coaching. I'll book your free 60-minute call. Let's have a chat. If I can't help you, like I said, I can get you in touch with the people that can help. And that's it, I guess, right?
That's it.
All right.
That's
So guys,
it.
remember,
Guys,
you guys
check it
didn't
out.
go through everything you went through just to survive it. So when you get to that point, share it with another person. Help build them up. Pay it forward.
That's right.
All right, brother. You have a
That's
good
right.
night.
You too, brother. We'll see you guys next week.
7 days, no obligation, just 7 days for an opportunity to make yourself a better man. Divorce, hardships, we all have or are going through it. You are not alone. Join the Brotherhood. Northman Coaching on School. Stop by today and begin the journey. Shoulder to shoulder, brick by brick. Nothing to lose, everything to gain. You are worth it. Join today.